Welcome back to Sarkis Unlocked. Today I have the great pleasure of sitting with Roy Bahnam from the Sarkis Team. He's the OG member on the team. He's been here through all three Sarkis Team logos, and we're going to get to know Roy a little better and hear his story. Welcome, brother. Thanks for being here.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
So when I think of you, I think of three logos. You know, you were here with the Sarkis Team has had three logos since it's been started, since we started the Sarkis Team. And you've been here. You're actually the only team member that's been through all three logos. That's still here. And I remember when you got started, we were at 21 Wormwood.
Crazy how time flies.
You were filing papers. You were handling all. We had different color-coded folders at that time.
Yeah, can never forget.
And we were just getting started.
Yeah.
Had no idea what we were really doing at that point.
Not at all.
And it's been a crazy ride, and you've been here since the beginning.
Yeah.
One thing I'll say is you are definitely the Sarkis OG member. And you have grown so much since you've started with me. Do you remember how this all actually came about, where we were?
I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. A little flashback.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
We were at my godmother, your mother-in-law's house for a pool party, and I just will never forget it. We just got out of the pool. You were across the table. You had your promoter's hat on backwards, and you go, Roy, what are you doing for work nowadays? And I was just coaching high school football at my high school. And
weren't you in Washington for something?
I was there I was doing an internship for my major in college. So it was sports related stuff. But at this point, it was senior year had passed, and I had just coached football at my alma mater high school, Bosland School. Shout out to Wolfpack. And doing this marketing job that I didn't love, door-to-door marketing. And I told you about it, and you were familiar with the job, and you said, you know what, Roy, you should get your real estate license. And I go, why? You're like, I want to start a team, and you can help me with rentals. I'll never forget that. It's exactly what you said. I look over to my cousin, and she goes, how old are you? I go, I'm 21. She goes, honestly, you should really think about it, because it takes a few years to be a good realtor. And it just, something in that moment clicked. You had sent me the test online. You texted it to me right away. And in about
that day I texted to you.
That minute you texted it to me. And
I've texted a lot of people that test, but they've never even opened the link.
And I know that's how you roll too. You kind of give people an opportunity, and you open up the doors, but it's whatever they make of that opportunity from that point forward. So you said that. I'm sure you told a few other people that you wanted a rental agent, but maybe I was the only one that stepped up to the plate. Took the test. About 5-6 months later, I finally texted you, and I sent you a picture of the passing test, and I said, I'm finally ready to go. And Monday morning, I showed up.
I think I had a heart attack that day. I was like, damn, this kid's actually going to come and work with me.
Next thing you know, we 21 Wormwood, 84 Atlantic. Then the show just begun at that point.
Crazy. It's crazy to look back at it because, at that point, took you under my wing, and I didn't really even have a wing. I didn't even know what I was doing, and it's crazy to look back at it. I remember we had the broker open for Rob Gronkowski's unit that was above it. Shout out to Gronk. And we had a little event in the office. You were there helping out. At that point, I didn't have any help. It was just you. And we were kind of just going through it and trying to figure it out. And you actually say this all the time to a lot of the new agents that come to the team. And you had the luxury of actually spending time with me back then. Tell me a little bit about that when we got started.
I mean, you just were just as I was so new to this, you were sort of just as new to it, all of it that I was too. So it was all sort of a fresh journey for both of us. You were not as busy as you are today, not even close, but you made it seem as though you were. I was really able to be the fly on the wall all the time for you, in the car, in the office, on the phone. I listened to every single one of your phone conversations for basically a year straight.
Please, that's why you have an NDA signed.
Yes, and that's why maybe I have a little bit of a potty mouth too. But it just was so valuable. The things that are sometimes most valuable are things that I don't even need to respond to. It's just things that I'm watching, things that I'm learning, things that I'm hearing. It's funny you mentioned that broker open, and I just wanted to quickly little nugget. That was the last time in my real estate career since 7 years that I've been nervous for anything. Was that broker open? It was my first broker open. I put on a suit. I have no idea what the hell I'm doing or who I'm talking to or who I'm seeing. You're shaking all these people's hands and recognizing all these faces. Everybody's brand new to me.
You were uncomfortable.
I was extremely uncomfortable, and I was so young and new to it all. But it's a great memory looking back.
I remember I had you run people back and forth, getting them from downstairs to upstairs, because our office was in the lower level on the retail space of 21 Wormwood, and I remember that, just walking people around. You were there.
It's funny how a lot has changed.
I remember you hosting open houses with me at Matt Bolesky's place in Newton.
Chestnut Hill.
Yeah, we had that for a while. That was a listing that just sat. But you would be there every single weekend with me.
It's just cool. Every appointment of yours, I was there. Every showing of yours, I was able to watch. And those showings were just as important as those phone calls, as the watching you in the office, because I got to see how you interacted with people. And that is so valuable in and of itself. I mean, and at this point in your career, you don't really have the time to have someone be a fly on the wall and a sponge in your pocket all the time.
Yeah, you're not just coming along with me anymore, because first off, you're going off on your own. You have your own business. Talk about busy. You're pretty busy yourself. But I'm also, bringing you in on the bigger conversations.
Totally.
You don't have the opportunity to be on a fly on the wall anymore, because you're in the conversations now.
Correct.
You earned your seat at the table, and going back to those first couple years, I mean, what did you make your first year selling? What did you make your first year? I wouldn't say selling real estate, because you weren't selling anything.
Yeah.
But I mean, you were doing it all.
Yep.
You did have the luxury of living at home at that time.
Correct.
So I don't think that you were, pressured to earn a decent living at that point.
No.
But I mean, what did you make your first year?
First year, I made just around $30,000.
$30,000.
Yep, and I think it kind of goes back to what my cousin was saying in that moment at the pool, where you said get your license, and my cousin said, "How old are you?" I said, "I'm 21." She goes, "The first couple years, you're gonna struggle." That was kind of the whole premise of it. So I understood that if my parents were as great as they were, letting me live at home, I was able to take a couple L's, a couple years of losses. My second year, not too much better than 30, maybe a little more than doubled, but I understood that it was a long game. I understood when I started real estate, it was a 15, 20-year plan. It wasn't a quick hit a home run and leave type of thing. So I was definitely okay with taking the right steps.
And how would you say have we had some tough days together?
For sure. But
was I tough on you in the beginning? Am I still tough on you today?
Of course. I'm kind of one of those team players where I play the game knowing that I have a lot of expectations on my shoulders, and I play the game knowing that there's a lot of people that are counting on me for results. So I'm totally okay with the pressure. I'm totally okay with being an example in front of the team. I've always been that type of player. So, yeah, I can definitely take a little bit. I can definitely take a little punch in the chin.
Do you remember any stories, and we don't have to give the specifics,
Sure.
of a day that I called you or came into the office and, kind of give you a little pit in your stomach?
I mean,
any specific moments or
scenarios?
I know
so
a call
many to choose from.
I know a call going back in the day.
Can't even. Which one? I mean,
there was a
trash situation.
Yeah, trash situation.
Yeah. I learned very quickly in this industry that you have to wear a lot of hats. If your seller tells you they want you to throw away trash, and you want to be a good realtor and you want to keep the listing, maybe you should go throw some trash away.
Yeah, I remember you told me, I'm not a trash guy. It's not my responsibility. I said, our responsibility is everything.
Yep.
You want to keep the listing. You want to keep the client happy. The client is always...
Correct.
They're always what?
They're always right.
They're always right.
Yeah.
The client's always right. And I remember calling you and a little back and forth, and that was...
But that's just quite the long... That's just one example of a long list of giving you a pit in my stomach.
How long has it been now?
Dude, I just looked on LinkedIn yesterday, 6 years and 9 months.
So 7 years,
yeah,
pretty
7
much.
years almost, which is crazy, which is a nice amount of time, and it's a lot of lessons, and definitely a lot of pits in my stomach. What's the thing about you is we're of the same culture, right? Our dads are probably very similar. We were probably raised pretty similarly where, just the average was never acceptable in our household. So, and I appreciate you for being that same way on me and on the rest of the team, and especially just throughout my career, and you're still that way to this day because there's a million things that I can be better at. So I'm totally cool with continuing to be an example, made an example in front of the team. I'll always be able to take it. But yeah, definitely you always like to remind me that I'm never doing enough. So it's definitely all right.
And that's where I think you have definitely excelled. I think our communication and my delivery as a leader has been challenged over the years. Feedback is everything. Mm-hmm. And I've been lucky to get that feedback from you over the years. The messaging, the delivery, and just overall communication. 7 years, I would start it off by, talking about a couple of your awards and accolades over the years. Rookie of the Year for Douglas Elliman in Massachusetts. For the entire brokerage, I believe.
Correct.
You got that award. That was a big achievement for you.
Sure.
And you've had a lot of achievements. I mean, you've had a lot of big deals. I remember just last week, you get the calls now. I gave you a call. I said, meet me at, this condo in the South End. Let's go pitch it. You get those calls. And, Manny and I, the team, everyone obviously values you and trust you to come on those calls, on those pitches. I mean, he used to be Rookie of the Year Roy, but I mean, right now, I don't know where the leaderboard is, but you're up at the top right now. You're in first place for the MVP running right now for 2025, and you've had a tremendous year. I mean, what are your numbers at this year? Year to date.
Year to date, I'm creeping up on $40 million.
$40 million. $40 million. I mean, that's got to be in the top 5%. Not many agents do $40 million. That's an achievement of its own. And we can talk about the success and the wins, but talk to me about, one of your biggest losses over this 7-year run. And you know what, I'm going to go back on that. I wouldn't say it's a loss. I would say it's a lesson.
Yeah.
And I've had plenty of them.
Sure.
I know I was on the call. We had our Monday morning huddle yesterday, and we talked about, I actually opened up the call with a lot of vulnerability and talking about the crazy 2-week run, the 2 weeks I had, where I just have, I just kept getting punched in the face. I kept getting the calls that I dreaded to hear or get from clients, and I just talked about how I had to stay resilient, and every time I got thrown on the floor, I had to get up. And then I talked about, this past week and how things have kind of started to turn around.
Sure.
But talk to me about some of those days that you look back on where it was like, damn. But now you actually look at it, and in my opinion, I do this all the time, it probably wasn't that big. Yeah, but probably wasn't as big of a deal as you thought.
Sure.
I mean, in real estate, you get a call, you get fired, you have a deal fall apart. Yeah. You feel like it's the end of your career sometimes.
Sure.
So give me an example of
I mean,
a lesson.
I have two losses that turned to lessons, I would say. Some sting more than others, regardless of how time passes. One lesson or one loss, I just had this listing that I took on that I was really intrigued by. I thought it was a beautiful listing. However,
This year.
However, the owner...
Is this the listing I went to with you?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we went together to check it out. I'd like to get your opinion on things. And the owner just wanted a certain price for it. You didn't believe it was worth that. I told you, gee, don't worry. I kind of want the listing. I kind of like it. It's pretty. We can get some good pictures. We can get some good videos and good content out of it. And I promise you I won't put that much. I will give it the effort it needs. I won't do anything beyond, because I understand that we're not on the same page price-wise.
Price-wise.
Did time get wasted? Naturally, right? You can't avoid it. If you take on a listing, you have to put at least a little bit of time and effort into it. And I did that. I'd like to think a little bit more than a little bit.
I mean, you gave it your all. We don't do anything
half-assed.
We don't do anything half-assed. We don't do anything half-assed here at the Sarkis Team. So you gave it your all.
There's a difference between 100%. There's a difference between 120%. And I gave it 100. I gave it 100%. And as time went on, I had great learning conversations and great experiences with the seller. Very uncomfortable conversations, but it was very necessary for my growth. I ended up losing the listing. I was okay with it. He wanted to go in a different direction. Give it to another realtor.
I gave you a number of like 2.5.
You gave me a number. We don't need to get into the specifics. We don't get into the specifics. But
I gave you a number. We went back and forth. Once again, you took it on. You wanted the challenge, which is fine because you've broken some records too, and we all have. But so you took on the listing.
Yeah.
It's you lost the listing, and I believe the listing is still on.
Listing is still on. So it goes to show you that, not everything is worth crying over. Somebody else can put their effort and their time into it, and whatever happens with them, all the power to them. But my name's not involved with that anymore. I would say my most hurtful thing in the business, and this year specifically, a loss. And this is a tough lesson to learn once you hear. I show a client of mine over a span of a year and a half, 2 years, not joking, 75, 80 places, not joking.
Over the span
of 2 years-ish. And the thing about me as a realtor is I'm not pushy. I am an advisor. I'm not a salesperson. I can't convince you to buy something. I can tell you why I think it might be a good idea and why it might be a good fit for you or not. Because at the end of the day, in a couple of years, I might have to sell it. So I want to make sure that I make you get in the right position. Because I've learned a couple other lessons we can get to another time.
Yeah.
I showed this person 80 places. And
in the city, across
in the city, just in the city.
And how did you meet this client?
I was connected to her via her daughter. I knew her daughter, and I was connected to her.
So it was a referral.
It was a referral, and we had a great relationship. I would pick her up. We would drive, yada yada. We became friends. She randomly just told me once that two other realtors started sending her stuff. As time goes on, she had met a couple friends in the city, a couple other realtors sending her stuff. I'm going on MLS every morning, and I'm trying to be the first one to send her something before her other realtor does. As time goes on, I'm like getting slower and slower responses. Something's fishy. I show her a great place. She offers low. I was off market. She loses it. She texts me the next morning. She goes, loser remorse. I regret it so much that I didn't go for asking. Like, I wish I got it. And I go, this goes back to me not being pushy. I advised her. I said, you should go to asking price. But I obviously can't. I can't sign the dotted line for you. She said no.
At that point, most people say, okay, we didn't get this. At least now she's going to take my advice on the next one.
Correct. You would think.
But?
You would think. 2 weeks later, it had been 2 days since she had responded to my last message. She sends me this long message. She goes, Roy, I really hate to do this because you've been nothing but great and a good friend of mine, blah, 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 blah. I ended up buying and getting a place in blah, 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 for blah, blah, blah. I look online. It's above the budget she told me to stay well under. It's a really nice place. I would have sent it to her right away had I known. And it sucked because that was 2 years of actual wasted time.
It wasn't wasted time.
It was a lesson learned, but it was a lot of time I gave her. A lot of weekends, a lot of sacrificing.
What's something you would learn from this?
Something I would learn from this is maybe she should have signed a buyer representation agreement form. But again,
yes, you should have.
But again, going back to being a salesperson, I only want to work with people that want to work with me.
And if they want to work with you,
they'll sign the form.
They'll sign the form.
But George, you know how I roll. I don't like to put paperwork in front of someone's face when I meet them. I just don't.
It doesn't have to be the first time.
I understand.
I mean, maybe after you showed them 20 places, you could have had them sign on.
You would have thought that after 20 places, we had one written out already in our minds, you know. But I guess it's a lesson learned, and that's what it is. And
I mean, you know, I had a situation like this year. This past year where I got a big client. I was excited about it, and they told me they don't want a full service building. They don't want. They want to be in a specific location within walking distance, and to a specific place. So I, had to pinpoint where I could show them properties and their location and specific buildings or homes that they would want, and I showed them, the limited inventory that was available, and then it went silent for a little bit, and then they sent me a message. Understand they didn't want a full service building, so that was like a big, no. So obviously I didn't show them full service buildings.
Naturally.
I didn't want to waste their time, and I didn't want to send them something. They happened to be staying at a hotel when they came to Boston. And this hotel actually has private residences upstairs. They just ended up going upstairs to the private residence, which is a full-service building, and they just bought a property over the weekend.
Super casual.
Super casual. And they said it didn't feel like a real estate purchase. They felt like they were just going shopping.
That's how it should feel.
And it was easy, and there wasn't much pressure to it. I don't want to give you the number, but it was bigger than my average deal. And
your average deals aren't anything to sneeze at.
But they were very honest and upfront.
Sure.
They said they did tell me that it was going to be a temporary move, just to get settled in, and they didn't use anyone specifically. They went direct to the building.
Yeah.
And I said congratulations.
Swallow your pride.
And let me know if you guys need any help. I'm always here to provide any service or resources that you guys need. I know you're new to the city, and I kept it moving. It was tough right away, but the thing is though, I also did have a buyer representation agreement. So going back to this buyer representation agreement, I wasn't going to hold them to it.
Yeah.
It's our reputation means everything. You know that. I've said it to you plenty of times. So you can have the agreement, but at the end of the day,
if they don't want to work with you,
they don't want to work with you. Simple. And we're very fortunate to have a lot of balls in the air. So
Totally.
one slips through, it's okay. There's plenty others. So those are some interesting lessons, obviously.
Yep. And I would say that that's actually the biggest learning curve over the past couple of years in my business is how the losses affect me much less than they once did in the future. I used to lose sleep over the smallest little things. I've learned to sort of, as much as you can, we're human beings at the end of the day, there's a lot of struggles that come with this. I've learned as much as I can to detach my emotions from whatever happens, whether it be good or it be bad. I've learned to just be even-keeled and can't get too high, can't get too low, and just the next day's going to come, the next ball's in the air, the next deal is potentially around the corner.
This too shall pass.
This too shall pass, and you never know what tomorrow will bring.
If things are great,
yep.
If things are going
bad,
you're going bad, but it's going to pass regardless.
Simple.
You can't get too high, you can't get too low.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that, speaking of high, that I've seen you actually achieve at the highest level is really turning into a leader on this team. You know, we're in real estate. You're an agent. You eat what you kill. You're an independent contractor at the end of the day. You know, I can give advice. I can give direction. I can coach. But at the end of the day, I can't tell you what to do and what not to do. And you've done a lot for this team with no monetary benefit at the end. You've came to me, you've came to Manny, and you've said, I want to, take a bigger role as a leader. You haven't been so focused on the titles. You've just done it, and you've done it because you want to, not because you want to prove anything. One of those examples are I remember, organized a class downstairs to go over rentals, and you've done so many rentals in your career. That's where this conversation started. That's how you even joined the team, is the whole rental aspect of it, helping Manny and I with rentals, taking on some of our rentals, and you've done it at a very high level. And I remember you took the leadership and responsibility of wanting to coach the whole team on the rental process. No benefit to you. If the agents on this team end up, learning specific things from you, that doesn't really benefit you. You don't get paid off of the other agents, do you?
No.
So what has made you do that? Like, why have you wanted to become a leader and help others with no monetary benefit to it? Sure.
In that same breath that I had mentioned earlier about how I can kind of be that person you can pick on if we're on a team meeting and you need to kind of dig into somebody, I'm kind of can be that punching bag. Is the same way that
you have been that punching bag.
My whole life.
You definitely have been that punching bag, and you
sure.
still will be that punching bag.
And I'm expecting to be. I definitely am expecting to be, and it's totally cool with me. But in that same breath, how I can be the punching bag is the same way that I should be a leader for this team. The negatives and the positives. When you and Manny aren't in the room, someone's still got to lead. Someone still has to sort of be that person to keep things going. I've always sort of been that leader, and it's been my football background. I played quarterback. I was a captain. I worked hard extra. I was always on the field on the weekends. I was always in the gym after school. I was always leading by example. And I was never the most athletic person. I'm not the strongest or fastest, but I always tried to be better mentally than the person ahead of me, and that gave me the advantage and the extra work. So that goes the same thing with real estate. I really care for our team. I love our team. The people on the team, if they show that they want to work, I'm willing to work right next to them and show them the ropes. And just the same way how I was your shadow for a year and a half, 2 years, not everybody has that opportunity anymore to do that for you, and not even for myself. So the way I give it back and the way that I can pass on things I learned from you and Manny is to just sit down in front of the team and teach them small things like rentals and talk about follow-up boss and just try to be better. And I've always always opened my arms up to the team to be that sort of resource. I know you guys are much more busy, and I can answer 99.9% of the questions you can answer. I probably can answer too. So I feel pretty confident in what I do. So I like to be there for the team.
Feels good.
Yeah, it feels good. And you know, at the end of the day, there's a level of respect that when I speak, I can hear people listening. You know, and that comes with respect, and that comes with longevity, and I put in the work. So you know,
all these things, right? So like all these lessons. Another leadership role that you've taken is bringing the team together. I mean, everyone talks about company culture. Everyone talks about people working together and getting to know each other on a personal level is super important for success. I know that you've taken responsibility in bringing the team together. You've had specific outings at your house where you've cooked for the team. You've welcomed them into your home. And I think you've done that on a couple different occasions. And I just think that's great. Like, honestly, that speaks volumes to where you are and where you've came. And listen, you're still young, man. Like the fact that you're doing this now, and you're really embracing this leadership role, and doing all these extra things. There's a reason why you're almost selling $40 million. It's just, it all comes full circle. And I don't think everyone realizes that, and I think that's such a big lesson for people to understand. It's like when you're putting in that work and you're focused on the greater good and not locked in on simply the check and the percentages and the numbers, those do come.
It comes back around.
It comes back around. It's like when you're doing something from the goodness of your heart and you're doing something to better everybody else, you're bettering yourself at the same time, which is just, it just comes back. And I think that, you know, you've definitely taken that and ran with it. And I think you've continued to elevate, you've continued to grow, and show Manny and I that, you know, you can really be an extension of us, which is what we always want and what we've always said we've wanted. You know, there is no I in team.
And that's always been the goal too, honestly.
It always has been the goal. Speaking of that, like that growth and that extension of Manny and I, you know, obviously for me, I've worked with a lot of professional athletes, some of the biggest names this city's ever seen. You're a big sports guy. You mentioned football. You worked for a professional football team as an intern. And I've brought you into that world a little bit. You know, I brought you courtside one game. I remember the funniest story. This is hilarious. This story is crazy. So we're at a courtside Celtics playoff game, Bucks, Celts. We get 8 courtside seats, and it's 6.
You, me, Manny.
It was me, you, Manny, Mac Jones,
Hunter.
who's balling, by the way, for San Fran right now.
Yeah, he is.
He's, but I've always said, like, you throw I mean, not against Mac Jones, but you can throw a lot of people in that offense, and they'll sling it.
I'm ready.
Yep. But it was me, you, Manny, Mac Jones, Hunter Henry, and Josh Uche.
Shout out Josh.
Shout out to Josh Uche. You and I worked with Josh. We sold him his house. And then he left, and we ended up renting his house for him. Josh is now playing for Philly.
Philly got a sack last week.
Beautiful. Shout out to Josh Uche. But the crazy thing is, we're at the game where we leave the game, and you're in the car with me. I think David Portnoy's in the front seat.
Just naturally, David Portnoy in the car, too.
So David Portnoy's in the car. We're going to Aria to have to eat after the game. And this is who you are, plain and simple. This is who Roy is. And we're driving, and we're about to go out to eat with, you know, a couple Patriots players, David Portnoy, who's an absolute legend in this city and all across the country and the world, and Portnoy's in the front seat, and I'm like, Roy, you're going to come and eat with us? And you go, man, I can't come and eat with you guys. I promised my friends I was going to play in a pickup basketball game.
With them.
And I go, what? And Portnoy goes, you're going to play basketball instead of come out with us?
No, he goes, you're going to go play basketball instead of eating with the quarterback of the Patriots and Patriots players. And I go, yeah. And he starts laughing. He goes, I respect that.
Yeah, he said, I respect that. And I was like, and that's because you committed to something.
Yep.
And once you committed to it, you were like, I'm not going to flake.
No.
And that was funny. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Portnoy always brings it up when I see him. He's like, where's that kid Roy that is playing basketball? And Portnoy laughs about it. And it's hilarious.
And he'll always remember me for that, I think.
He really will. And that just speaks to who you are. Now, athletes, we're running out of time soon. So athletes, you've worked with a lot of different athletes with me.
Yep.
I've brought you in because, I've trusted you. You've got it done. I mean, I remember I was away. I had you tour Jaylen Brown and his team around some places in the city, which ended up being a big success. Mm-hmm. We talked about Josh Uche.
Yep.
You were on that. You helped Josh buy with me, and then obviously you ended up renting out Josh's place. Mm-hmm. You've had a couple athletes specific Boston legends who you've sold, I think 6 places to, whatever it was. Mm-hmm. And you've earned their respect.
Totally.
A couple Celtics guys you've done rentals with.
Yep.
Talk to me about, dealing with the athletes.
Sure.
Gaining their trust.
Sure.
Something that you might have learned from me.
Sure.
And the team
Sure.
that has actually helped you get into that. Because a lot of agents reach out and they're like, hey, man, how do you get hooked up with the athletes? It's like, first off, to all the agents out there, I'm not going to tell you how I get my clients.
Here's the secret sauce.
But it's really not that secret.
No.
It's just simply putting yourself out there. Yep. Once you do well with a few, you just get referrals.
Simple.
That's the whole point of doing the right thing in any industry, any business, anything in the world. You do right by someone, they will send you their friends, their family, and it ends up building with momentum.
Totally.
Plain and simple.
Totally.
So tell me about how you've had success with some athletes, and talk to me about one success story this year, actually, that you've been able to accomplish.
Sure. So, you bring up a great point. It's just like clients, right? They're your clients, regardless of who they are. If you do a really good job for them, they will not only refer you business, they'll talk highly of you, hopefully connect you with other people down the road, but always think about you. I've worked with I've been lucky enough to be introduced to a couple of athletes, whether that be from other clients of mine or friends of mine that were one person away from knowing them, or however you introduced me to people. But the self-procured athletes have been a great experience. One of my clients really, really trusts me, and he's very big into investments, and he's purchased a lot of property here in Massachusetts, and he is no longer even playing in Boston, but he trusts me. And I help him, and I show him that I can take care of the property, that I can lease out the property, that I can sort of manage the property for him. And there's a couple of those guys that I do that for, a couple athletes. And it's great, repeated business year over year with rentals and filling those vacancies. However, just a lot of high trust. With all that being said, one of my athlete clients who purchased with me 2 years ago, sold here, made some money, and it was actually a direct deal, so it was my biggest deal of the year.
Double-sided.
Double-sided. The buyer came directly.
What was it?
The purchase price?
Yeah, what was the purchase price?
It was $175.
$175, so it's essentially like a $3.5
million deal, and that was a great experience. Again, my seller and my client has a lot of trust in me that I've earned over the last 3-4 years with him, where he just will let me run the show. And I wish all my clients were like this, and he trusts me, let me rock with it, and I brought him the pudding at the end, and he was very happy with the way I work, and I pride myself on communication and organization and hard work. And
now let me ask you this:
Sure.
When you work with one of these athletes,
sure,
and something goes wrong or they need something, are you charging them for the extra time you put in?
It's a great question.
Or
I mean,
are you just, going above and beyond?
I mean, athlete or not, I'm just at a position in my life where I've been so blessed by my clients.
I mention athletes because they're not here all the time.
I understand that.
It's a second home
Totally.
sometimes. They're busy. Their day-to-day is lock in. It's the season.
Sure.
Some of them are, not hands-on guys. They're not changing light bulbs. They're not, doing specific things.
Smoke, the batteries in the smoke detector went out. There's a million different things. And I think it just goes to I guess I'm sort of consistent with this. If I'm just going to do something for my client, I'm not going to ask them for $20 back, dude. Especially not my athletes, especially not my high-end clients, especially not somebody that has given me their time and their trust. And why? Why? Let me just do it. My whole life I go and do something for somebody with nothing in return. Not going to start today.
Now let me ask you this. So you've seen this from me firsthand. This specific client we're talking about, we're not going to give his name, but he's on another team now.
Yeah.
Now you've done so well, but you've done everything you've said you'd do for him. Mm-hmm. You've sold his primary residence when he was here. Mm-hmm. You made him some money. Mm-hmm. You've sold him properties for investments. Mm-hmm. You've rented them all out. Mm-hmm. I got you one of the tenants. Mm-hmm. I did a rental this year, actually. So do it all, guys. And they're all leased out. They're all cash flowing. You've done an A+ job for him. Mm-hmm. Now he's on another team. Mm-hmm. Now that team he's on, if there's a player he's teammates with that actually gets traded to Boston or to New England, what are you going to do right away?
Right away. Connect me with them.
Connect me with them.
And guess what? I'm going to have no hesitation asking for it.
And why would he not connect you with them?
It would make no sense not to.
You do the right thing.
Yep.
The stars align.
That's it.
Plain and simple.
And now, I mean, not for nothing, I'm sad he's gone. But now he's meeting a whole bunch of new people.
Yes, he is.
That maybe one day comes here.
Okay, so we did the athletes. You've shared some success stories. You've shared some lessons that you've learned throughout your career. A big part of this business that you've actually excelled in, and you've definitely been able to be successful in this, is new development.
Sure.
You sold the first building with us for Alpine Property Group. Shout out to Brian and Steve. Taft in Rosendale. How many units was that?
16.
16 units. Sold that. Learned the process.
Yep.
Implemented the new development process.
Sure.
From floor plans to renderings to design.
Website.
To everything. You just took it all and you learned.
Sure.
You were a sponge.
Sure.
And we had great success there.
Yeah.
16 units.
Yeah.
I believe, 50, what was the sellout there?
About $14 million.
$14 million. Yeah. Fast forward, we get them a building, a new project in Newton.
Yep.
The Beacon. For those watching, I mean, we probably won't have any inventory left. 7 units or 6 units left now. Yeah. 34 units total?
Yep.
34 units total. About 28 units sold.
Yep.
A lot of them pre-construction.
Yep.
Selling off of floor plans, renderings.
Sure.
Selling, off of a Zoom call.
Sure.
Whatever it is.
Sure.
You have, really mastered that process. And how has that been? Like, for anyone selling new development.
Sure.
And trying to, be a resource and an add value partner to a developer building, because everyone thinks they can just, jump in and sell. Mm-hmm. What's the number one thing that you would recommend to a developer or an agent who's trying to work with a developer for a condo project like this?
Sure. I mean, again, I don't
there's one word I say that is the word for selling a project like this. It's one word, if you know what it is.
Start with a C or
No, it starts with an M.
Momentum.
Momentum.
That's for sure true in a lot of that we do. I don't want to give all the answers away, but I think it's very important to be extremely organized.
Organized.
And to know the product inside and out. If you asked me, oh, Roy, what's the square footage of 206 at the Beacon? I can sit here and tell you that it's 1270.
Is it 1270?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And so it's, small little details like that. Oh, Roy, what's 207? Oh, that's 1342 square feet, obviously. It's listed for 1395. These are just things in my head that over time you just need to know the product.
And guess what? I don't even know the square footage. I don't even know the price.
Yeah.
I don't even know half of the units in the building.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time when people say, hey, George, I'm hiring you,
yeah.
I have to now stop and say,
yeah.
no, you're hiring our team
yeah.
because I have straight rock stars.
Yeah.
I have people who have been around me filing papers at 21 Wormwood Street and having a stomach ache for their first broker open. I have trusted partners and colleagues on my team. You've been a big reason for the success of 1114 Beacon.
Yeah.
You know more about that building than I do.
Sure.
And I was able to pass the puck.
Sure. And
I'm there if you need me. Yeah. I've brought some buyers.
Of course.
I've brought some people through. I've helped with the branding. I've helped build the momentum.
Sure.
But you've been able to take that building and treat it as your own.
Yeah.
And we're going to sell out by the time this show even launches, probably.
God willing. Yeah.
So that's crazy. It's a great story. That building is another case study on how we can work together, how we can divide and conquer, the success we've had. So, congrats on that.
Thank you.
You've definitely showed us that we can put you in and, out of sight, out of mind type deal.
Sure.
But let's not give Manny any credit.
My brother Manny's been
the leader on that project.
And all these projects, Manny is an amazing partner. He's taught me a lot.
Yeah, you and Manny have had that.
We have something good going on.
Yeah, you guys have that chemistry on these projects.
Sure.
Obviously, my brother is just as much of a leader as I am.
Yeah.
He's my rock. He's definitely someone that has helped me.
Sure.
I've loved that. Like, once again, my mentorship to you has been really based on my brother and a reflection on my brother being a mentor to me. So it all works together. It all comes full circle. But we're going to end this with one last thing. Why work with Roy? For those watching, why work with you? Keep it simple.
I mean,
if you're in an elevator with somebody, the elevator pitch, hey, I need a real estate agent. Why should I work with you?
I mean, I'm just to go off our brand pillars, I'm extremely relentless. I'm extremely communicative. I am well organized. I think that I pride myself in just being honest. And
you are honest.
Yeah, and I'm a trustworthy guy, and I'm going to give you the honesty whether you want to hear it or not. Because if I think it's going to improve somebody or something, then I'm going to do it. Same thing goes with my business. I'm going to put my best foot forward. I'm going to give it 110%, everything I got.
120 earlier.
Yeah, 120. Yeah, 120, 110, kind of just depends.
100 if they want to overprice it by $1 million.
Yeah. Either way, a lot of my effort. But I let my business do the talking. I let the actions speak louder than what I'm going to say to you.
Awesome. I appreciate you being here.
Thanks,
everyone. Follow Roy on Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok. I don't know where, if we can click on the screen or something.
It's like right here. There.
But follow this guy. Like I said, he's the Sarkis Team OG. He's been here from the beginning, and he's as loyal as it gets. If I was buying a house and I couldn't represent myself, I would hire this kid. All right. Thanks for being here, brother.
Appreciate you.